Hello, welcome to Tabletop CP. This is update number 1 in the Stonewall Brigade Project. In this one, I'm going to be talking about the first group that I painted, which is essentially a test group for the various colors that I had talked about in the last video. I'm going to talk about the lessons I've learned painting these guys, and I'm going to talk about any resulting changes to the plan I did in the last video based on those lessons that I learned. And there are quite a few of them, so we'll go ahead and get started.
All right, so here is my first completed group of Confederate line infantry / my test group. I'm pretty happy with them overall. I think they look ragtag, kind of how I wanted, and the colors that I went over in my paint plan I think worked pretty well for Confederate infantry. The butternut, which was the big question I had in the paint plan video, and I did get a lot of responses on that, and thanks to everyone who replied with their ideas and their opinions. And the consensus was essentially that there is no butternut color. The color itself was just regular cloth, is dyed, I guess, in walnut husks or some damn thing. And when they're brand new, they varied in shade, and then you throw them out in the field in the sun and the rain, and they fade. It's, you know, any color between dark yellow or brown to khaki to light gray could pass for butternut. So what I did was I just I picked a color out of my coloring, my paints I should say, and the color that I chose to do butternut for this group at least was Japanese uniform. I think it looks pretty damn cool. I did not expect to use Japanese uniform, but after searching through my paint pile I found it and I thought I'd give it a try, and I think it works. So that's what I used on this group. The next group I will probably use a khaki color for the butternuts. I do have some khaki in here. This guy's hat is khaki. This guy's shirt is khaki as well. And I think that would be a fine butternut color. The gray, so the gray was another big part of the army, and I know in my plan I had initially said that I was going to do half of the army in all gray. Well, here's an all gray guy, and after looking at him, I don't think I would like half of my army to be all gray. I think it looks kind of boring. It does make him look Confederate, and it would tie them all together, but I think what I'm going to do is drop that number down to maybe 25% in all gray. I will still have guys in gray tops and possibly gray pants, maybe this like this, but maybe flipped around some of them. Butternut top, gray pants. And I think that'll just make a more interesting looking army. The more that I look at the all gray guys, I've done millions of armies in all one color, and this is my chance to do ragtag army. I know that I had said that ragtag painting is going to take a lot longer, and it does take a little bit longer, but not that much longer. So what I did was I painted 4 at a time, and doing that, it didn't really take any longer to paint a guy like this, who is very ragtag. Everything is different on him than it did to paint this guy. It's really not any longer to do. So I've decided I'm going to change my plan. I'm going to go from a cohesive looking mostly gray army to a almost 75% ragtag looking army. That's a pretty big change from my initial plan, but I think in the end it's definitely going to be worth it. I've also done some of the pants in the blue color, the captured federal pants, so that's what those look like. I like the way that looks as well. And other than that, equipment wise, I just stuck to the plan, mainly black cartridge boxes, and then I've done the canteens in some of them in medium brown, some of them in khaki. Done the bread bags in khaki and off-white mainly. And then the rifles are just wood, and I've done some of the rifles with the shiny barrel and some of the rifles with the blackened barrel. I also want to throw out there that when I do the next group of guys, I'm going to add some light gray in to mix in with the neutral gray, so that'll even add some variation within the gray itself, which will even add more ragtag look to the army. Now that I'm happy with the colors that I'm going to be using on the army, the next challenge is figuring out how to apply those colors to these guys so that each guy looks a little bit different and the colors have enough contrast against each other. And as luck would have it, Marc aka Munnin from the Two Fat Lardies boards, had sent me a message in Discord when he saw that I was doing this project, and he is writing an article on this exact subject for the Goon Hammer webpage. So it's a 40K page, but he is the historical guy for that webpage. And his newest article he's working on is the Confederate ragtag look. So he sent me this cool little chart that you can use to make sure that you have enough variety and enough contrast within each guy to make everyone look individual, but have them all look like still a cohesive force. So I'll add a link to his article on this video so you can go check it out, and I know it'll be useful for me because while I can do the colors and I can paint, I don't really have a great eye for colors that go together, as usually I just follow historical precedent. This is a little bit of a different army in that there's so much different color that it will come down to how well do these colors go together, and is there going to be enough contrast with this color on top of this color. So again, thanks to Marc for that, and this is going to come in very handy, and yeah, check it out in the link below. I think that will wrap up update number 1. So group 1 done. I think I was going to break it up with some Indians or some more cowboys, but I do have the other group and a group of skirmishers done. So what I think I'm going to do is just power through all 3 of those right away, and then I'll take a break with something else. But since I have them built, I'm going to get them done. So the next update will probably be another group of line and a group of skirmishers. And then after that, what I plan to do is I want to have a paint and chat session. They're pretty popular. I enjoy watching them, and I would like to do one myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm getting a couple of my patrons off my Patreon, some knowledgeable guys in Civil War as well as just avid gamers, and we're going to paint, and we're going to talk about mainly Civil War stuff and the hobby in general. So I don't know exactly when that's going to be. It'll probably be a few weeks before we do that, but when we do, it should be pretty fun, and I would hope everyone can come out and join in on that, get a little painting done, get a little hobby talk done, and just have a good time. So anyway, thanks for watching update number 1, and we'll see you next time for update number 2.